When you spoke about your translation of The Reliance of the Traveller, which in many ways launched your reputation as a translator of classical Islamic texts, at what point did the thought of translating the Quran enter your mind?
Well, it was came about kind of strangely. I wanted to read a book of tafsir with an alim, a book of tafsir with somebody who was cognizant and really knew something about tafsir. And so my wife, who was also interested in Islamic sciences, wanted to do so also. She would follow along by the recordings. And so this is when we first hired Sheikh Ali Hani to teach. And I think it was Nasafi. I can't remember at this point, it was so long ago. But I think it was Nasafi. And what he did when he would open up Nasafi, and for the better part of an hour and a half, he would read a single page of the tafsir. And it's 4 copious volumes. And so I said, well, this isn't going to go anywhere. And so I said, I started thinking, what if we just did the Quran in one page and take the whole page in each lesson and see what we could do? And so that's what we, and also Islamica magazine was being published, and the editor was Suhail Nakhuda. And so he was, I would see him from time to time, giving him some contributions of the hikam, al-Ata'iyya. I would translate one of the hikam and give a sharh of it. And so the people that read the magazine, they thought that the translation was unusually accurate. So they, one after another, through talking to him and contacting him, saying, well, why doesn't he translate the Quran? And so we were I was walking along with him one day. He said, everybody's just waiting for you to start translating the Quran. And so I said, they are. And so with those 2 things, I decided, I made an istikhara, a prayer for guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to do something or not to do something. And so this was all under the Sadiq. I'd use the same. It's we're praying 2 cycles of the prayer and then making a supplication to Allah for guidance after you finish, and to see what Allah opens your heart to. And I used it a lot in The Reliance of the Traveller, even for punctuation and other small questions. And so I was accustomed to doing it for everything. And so, and also in the Quran, for a choice of words sometimes. And so we went through it, and I found the biggest barrier was my previous conception of what the ayahs had meant. And it was at one point I said to myself, I was reflecting on my career. I said, I thought I was smart until I began learning Arabic. And I said, I thought I knew Arabic until I started trying to translate the Quran. And find many, many surprises. And they met with, from Sheikh Ali, who is cognizant with the greatest of the Mufassirin, the greatest of the traditional exegetes. And these were giants, intellectual giants. And they didn't miss much, to say the least. So I would be arguing for something that had been sort of with what I remembered from the old English translations. And he would be telling me the matter was otherwise than what I believed. And so we went along. And it was a very eye-opening experience. And then finally we finished perhaps around 2011 or something like that. We began around 2004 or 5. And into 2011, I believe, around that period. I'm not sure exactly. And I had an intermission, actually, for less than a year, but it was to get out another work that I believe had to be got done, which is Sea Without Shore, about Sufism. And so I worked on that. And every publication takes intensive work, and so we got that going. And it wasn't much of a hiatus between from our lessons in the Quran. And Sheikh Ali was a family man, and so we kept him supported, and he was while he was working with us. And he was very good when he first started, and he became super cognizant. I don't think there's anybody that has more knowledge than he. There might be some people who have as much, but I don't think anyone surpasses him. And the secret, as one of my friends used to say, he said, "Sir, atafarraq." He said, the secret behind really getting something good, getting it down well, is when you can devote yourself to it full time and just do it. And he was highly motivated. There's nothing that's more important to him than the Quran. So he went up and down and backwards and forwards and answered questions. And sometimes he would spend 3 or 4 days on the inflection of a single word, searching everything. And he said, well, this is, he said, the al-khilaf qawi, the difference of opinion between the top imams of tafsir is strong on this particular point. And so he would go and go until he believed that he had something that was really solid. So then we finished, and I believed that we had progressed to the point we could benefit by doing it again. So we did.
Yeah, that's something that readers find quite astonishing when they read the introduction, that you'd completed almost 7 years of a draft. And I had assumed when I read that passage in the introduction that this was just a matter of then reworking parts of the first draft, but it's really...
Yeah, we went from stem to stern, and alhamdulillah wa shukrillah. I worked, he worked as if he had never seen the previous work, and so did I, and we did it again. One thing that I did do was I did compare my new draft to the previous typed draft, because I had been typing as I had been going along. And nasallallahu tawfiq was something so long. And believe me, people, now we're going over the tafsir, and people are thinking it's kind of, what can you say, microscopically intense, and in terms of the speed. But this was and is, this amount of time was reckless speed.